Good morning, everyone. Hi, this is Hannah. Today we have gray skies. I'm in New Jersey. I'm pretty tired this morning. My family's asleep. My son and my husband. My son is 5 years old. He sleeps pretty steadily throughout the morning, so steady enough that I'm doing this session. But there's always that possibility that he could wake up, I suppose. But hey, this session is about letting go, and that's what I intend to do as well. I hope you're doing well this morning, and thank you for joining me. Thank yourself for getting up early, or maybe this is going to be a time where you watch this later on, and thank yourself anyway for showing up and giving your body and your mind and your heart what it needs this morning. So this is an all levels class, all levels welcome. I'm going to be going slowly, gently, and taking a lot of time to check in with yourself and being aware of your body. And as we do the poses, it's a journey of connecting the body to the mind and being present with yourself. My friend Mike, who took one of my classes, described yoga as a bodily communication that is more subtle, like a whisper, which I found to be really beautiful. He is a biker. He lifts weights, and I lift weights as well and exercise. But the way he described yoga as being this subtle communication, like a whisper, it's just perfect, because as we do yoga and the poses, our minds ideally will start to quiet and become more calm. And through this calm, we can start to listen to the subtle messages from our body and our minds. So thanks for that, Michael. I just wanted to share that. Props wise, if you have blocks like those, please have them. If not, you can use thicker books. And if you don't have that, if you don't wish to use that, that's okay. I can provide other ways to do the poses. But if you have something, it might be helpful, just in case. So this is the third part of this mini series, Calm Morning Yoga. And this is the third part, Let Go. And the previous sessions, we talked about a few concepts that I'm just going to go over very briefly because I do think it's helpful. When I mention the midline, when I say hug your midline, I'm talking about this imaginary line that runs through the middle of your body. And when I say hug it, it's an energetic pull towards the center of your body, which helps engage your core. When people say engage your core, sometimes it feels very like, huh? Well, midline for some people might sound that way too, but for me, it's been very helpful. And so I just imagine this line in the center of my body, and you just kind of pull your energy towards it. Maybe you're hugging your inner thighs in together. And it's a hugging, not a clenching. So you don't want to be contracting your body, just this kind of sense of going towards the center of yourself. The other concept is rooting to rise, or root to rise. Anytime we have a pose where we're rising up, we're always going to start with rooting down first, because that is what gives us the information to rise up. So I'm going to be cueing that as well. And the third concept is this balance between ease and effort. Oh, by the way, if you're here, just feel free to say hello. This balance between ease and effort. So when we do yoga and do these poses, you want to have a sense of ease. You don't want to be muscling through it the whole time, but at the same time, you want a sense of effort. You want a sense of strength behind that ease. So it's always like a continual exploration of that delicate balance. Okay. And then today, since we're doing let go, when I give cues to let go and release, I want you to think about, okay, I'm letting go. Is there something, some place, some feeling in my body where I can release even more, even more? So I invite you to just open up and really get intimate with the sensations of your body today, in terms of especially letting go. Um, and when you do this, let go, uh, getting back to that ease and effort idea, we don't want to let go so much that we're just in floppy noodle, because then we might fall down. We want to obviously have that core center strength at the same time as we're letting go. Good morning, Mike. I quoted you this morning. I don't know if you heard about the whisper. Okay. Um, and what am I else? What else am I going to say? Yes. So other ways to just deepen in letting go. You may want to think about your jaw. For me, the jaw is a big thing. When I think about loosening my jaw, for some reason, my entire body just loosens up, or the muscles in my face, or just a sense of holding anywhere. You can check in with your body and see, am I holding any place? And when you find that place, you can just let it go, relax it, the best you can, of course. Okay, so let's explore a little bit more about let go. I'm not going to talk my head off, but I want to explore what letting go means for you. Okay, so just a quick check-in for me. This week has been very hard for me. This class couldn't come at a better time, because I've had moments where I'm just like, ah, I've hit a wall. I feel so overwhelmed. I have a 5-year-old, and if you are a parent of a young child, maybe you can relate. But my 5-year-old has decided to think that he is the boss of this family, and just suddenly, just out of nowhere, he's just kind of turned into this jerk. And it's been really hard for myself and my husband this week. And there was a lot of moments where I just had to take myself away and breathe and collect myself and just let go of whatever I was holding that wasn't useful. And not only that, but obviously the COVID-19 situation that's happening, everything, the news that we're hearing every day, that stuff is hard to let go. I hold on to it throughout the day. There's always a part of me, and I'm sure that's maybe the same for you too. So I don't know what let go might mean for you, but I'm just asking you, what does letting go mean for you? It may mean control. Maybe that's something that you may want to think about. Maybe you're gripping on a situation. Maybe it's about judgment on someone else, or maybe you're judging yourself. Something that I invite you to think about, something that you may want to let go this morning. Worries, anxiety about the future, etc. Something I think about is, when we're afraid of letting go, uh, what if maybe we're afraid of letting go because we don't know if there's anything there to catch us if we let go? Um, so that's something that I just invite you to think about, something to look closer at, something to investigate. Um, but always, you can always come back to your breath. Your breath can catch you. It could be the net for you. And when you come back to your breath and to the present moment, that is where the future and the past doesn't exist. You're here in the now, and that really can provide you with a lot of freedom. Okay, so just a couple of details. Inhale, exhale cues. If it doesn't sync up to when I'm giving those cues, don't worry about it. Just stay with your breath and in the present moment. That's more important. Breathing through the nose is recommended to filter in the air, keeping it warm, building heat in the body. And of course, I will invite a lot of times to sigh out through your mouth, which is a great way to let go. Uh, and I just invite you to listen to your body. And if you have any modifications that you need to do for yourself, please feel free. And at any time during the class that you feel tired or strained, just go into child's pose and just relax. Okay? Because this is a one-woman show, I will be, doing front view, side view. So just don't worry about that. Just stay where you are, and I will do my best to modify it. So I just want to remind you, this is a practice, okay? We don't aim for the perfect pose. We're not aiming for perfection. We're aiming for accepting ourselves, our bodies, doing our best to accept the moment, and sending a smile to ourselves. Maybe that's something you want to think about today. Okay, think about the attitude of your mind, and if you notice that you're being a little hard on yourself, I need to let go, damn it, you know, um, consider sending a smile. So with that, I'm going to have another sip. Today it's Earl Grey with a little bit of almond milk and a little bit of agave. I had to have a little sweetness. So let's get started. I invite you to come to your mat. Just sit on your feet and allow your hands to fall by your feet. And we're just going to put our forehead, keeping your hands by your feet, put your forehead on the mat, making yourself into a ball. This is child's pose as well. Bring your forehead to the mat and just sink down this morning. Just release yourself into this moment. Breathing deeply. And as you hear the bell, I just want you to release even more. Is there something today that comes up, that sort of percolates up to your mind? What do I wish to let go more of in my life? Is it the feeling of overwhelm? Control? Just letting that melt into the mat. Just surrender here to the moment here. Now gently turn your head to the side, letting your head rest. Releasing further, just resting. Being with whatever arises for you this right now. Then turning your head to the other side. Letting go of what you have to do today. You are here just right now with your practice. Bring your head back to center, your forehead on the mat. Raise up your hips just a little. Put your palms on the mat. And we're going to give ourselves a cranial massage. You can tuck your toes in a little bit, and you can lift up your hips so that your head, you're giving yourself a little bit of a massage back and forth from the top of your head to your forehead. Just gently massaging as you rock back and forth gently. Feel free to exhale through your mouth or through your nose. And then we can let that go, leaving your hands where they are, putting your forehead back to center on the mat. And when you're ready, you can rise up to table. Let's do a couple of cat-cows here. You can tuck your toes if you like, dropping your belly, lifting your chest as you ground your palms into the earth, shining up your heart. We breathe in and we breathe out, rounding your back, leaning into the earth with your palms and with the toes. The back rises to the ceiling. And on an inhale, we do the reverse belly drops. Heart shines forward, rooting down through the palms, sending your chest up. And rounding your back, still pressing firmly into the ground with your palms. Now let's do some smiley faces, as I like to call them, with your butt. Smiley faces back and forth. Feeling the sensations, the stretching in your hips, opening those areas up today. Noticing what your body is telling you. Now coming back up to table. Extend one leg out. And on an inhale, we can raise up that leg. And I'm just going to move to the front view so you can see better. Lift up that leg, swing it over to the side, and look at that foot. Giving yourself a nice side body stretch. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Bring your nose closer to your toe to deepen the stretch if you like. On an inhale, lifting that foot and swinging it over to the other side, planting that foot down. And then let's do one cat and cow here, dropping your belly, rising up your chest, shining your heart forward, and rounding your back, pressing down into the earth. On an inhale, walk your fingertips up towards your body, raising up your torso. Inhaling your hands up towards the sky. And then exhale, lower your shoulders away from your ears. Inhale again. And then exhale, lower that arm to your leg, to your extended leg. Inhaling again through your crown, elongating your spine. And then exhaling, side stretch. Inhale, look towards the ceiling, opening up your chest a little bit. Stay here for a few breaths. Sweeping that top arm down to the mat, bringing the other hand up and creating a diagonal with your body. Stay here for a couple of breaths. On your next inhale, look towards the ceiling, opening up that chest. And then inhale, rising up, back to center. Great, let's do the other side. Coming back down to table, extend your other leg out and swing it over to the opposite side. And looking over at that toe, giving yourself a nice side body stretch. Noticing what comes up here for you. Maybe deepening the stretch a little bit. And an inhale, lifting that foot up and swinging it over, planting that foot down, and a cat and cow here, dropping your belly, planting your palms into the ground and sending your heart up. And exhale, rounding your back toward the ceiling, pressing into the earth. Inhale, walk your fingertips toward your body, rising up, sending your hands to the sky. And exhale, lower your shoulders away from your ears. Inhaling again, nice long spine, and exhale, lowering that hand onto your extended leg. Inhaling here again, nice and expansive. And exhale, side stretch. On your next inhale, look toward the ceiling, rotating that chest up, opening your heart. Staying here for a couple of breaths. On your next inhale, sending that top arm down to the mat as the other arm comes up, creating a strong diagonal with your body. On your next inhale, gaze toward the ceiling. And inhale, rising up, coming back to center. Now let's come down to our bellies, to a cobra. We're just going to come to a side view here. The tops of your feet are planted on the ground. Your pubic bone is grounded. You can put the palms of your hand by your chest, and your elbows are closer to your body. Hugging your midline, grounding down through the points that are touching the ground. We inhale and rise up, shining our chest out. We're not cranking our neck like this. We're keeping our neck very neutral, but our heart is shining out forward. I hear the trash truck. Take a couple of breaths here. You may notice your body rising and falling. On your next inhale, widen your knees so that you can come back to devotional pose, sinking your hips down. Take a moment to release. Rising your hips again, coming back to cobra. Send your knees closer together, belly on the ground, hands by your chest, elbows toward your center. We ground down, and on an inhale, we rise up. Rooting down for rise up. Couple of breaths here. On your next inhale, push down through your palms and send your hips back to devotional pose, letting your forehead melt on the mat. Coming back up again, one more time. Knees together, belly on the ground. This time we come up to Sphinx. Send your elbows under your shoulder sockets and your forearms are nicely planted onto the ground. Your pubic bone and your legs and the tops of your feet are nicely rooted down into the ground. And we sink down, rooted, as we rise up. Think about sending energy out through your heart, shining it forward. Now I would like you to clasp your hands together, clasping your hands together, rooting your forearms. Your forearms are still rooted onto the mat. Tuck in your toes, and we're going to come up to a plank on an inhale. Stay here for 5 counts. You're hugging your midline. Now you're going to walk gently up toward your head as your hips come to the sky into dolphin pose. Oh, this feels so good. You're grounding firmly into your forearms. You can gently pedal your feet. And just let your head drop. Letting go. What do you wish to let go this morning? Giving yourself lots of love and compassion as you breathe in and out. Now let's together raise our heels on an inhale. And then gently send your heels down to the mat. It doesn't have to touch the mat, just energetically pull them down into the earth. Maybe a big sigh through your mouth. Bringing your knees back down, wide, apart from each other, back to devotional pose, sinking down, melting. Rest here for one more breath. When you're ready, gently rise up into seated position. And as we sit here, just take a moment just to be aware. Maybe you want to close your eyes. Just check in. What is coming up for you right now? Sensations in your body, any mental formations that are happening. Breathing into it. Okay, we can flutter our eyes open. Okay, we can root ourselves into the ground. Maybe you want to scoop up the flesh from under your tush so you can feel your sit bones. Sitting firmly into the ground, rooting down into the ground, breathing up through the crown. Send one hand to the front of you and the other hand to the back. You can be on your fingertips. Breathing in through the crown as we gently twist, starting with your belly. Inhale through the crown, Long spine. Twist again. Maybe you're facing the side of your body. Inhaling, gently twisting. You can think of yourself as like a wet rag, wringing out impurities and toxins, things that you don't want today, things that don't serve you, letting them go. And when you're ready, you can gently come back to center, taking one breath here in the center. Put your other hand in the front, the other fingertips go to your back. Inhaling, long spine. Twisting, starting with your belly. Exhale. Inhaling through the crown of your head and twisting. Inhale, twist. One more inhale. Twisting all the way like a coil. And then when you're ready, you can come back to center. Exhale through your mouth. Just noticing how that feels in your body. Now I would like you to bring the soles of your feet together. And you can bring your feet close to your crotch or further away from your crotch, whatever is most comfortable for you. We're going to be doing a forward bend at the hip, so you can modify where you put your foot. But we're going to hold our feet for this moment, finding the rooting through our sit bones. We root down through our sit bones. As we breathe in, we elongate our spine we breathe in through our crown. And stay where you are. I'm going to show you the side view. We're going to hinge at our hips with a flat back. Just a little bit. Pause and breathe here. Maybe you want to put your fingertips on the mat and walk them forward as you hinge a little bit further. Now, what we don't want to do is round our back like this. We want to keep our back nice and straight. What helps me do that is I think about my heart shining forward. So we're here and we're hinging a little bit further, walking our fingertips. And when you found your edge, you can just lower your head and rest. Finding that sweet balance between ease and effort. Feeling the stretch in your hip area. What is opening up for you right now? On your next inhale, you can raise your head, lift up your chest, and gently come back to seated position. Now I'd like you to extend both of your legs out. You can have a slight bend in your knee, that's okay. We can scoop out the flesh from under our tush again. And let's just sit here in Dandasana, which is staff pose. With an upright spine, feeling our sit bones rooting down into the earth. We can just rest our palms or our fingertips to our side. See if you can feel an expansiveness from the ground all the way through the crown of your head. like a feeling of Tadasana, mountain pose, except you're sitting on the ground. Bringing your awareness back to the present moment and just breathing here. Now gathering your legs to your body, we put our palms on the ground, coming to table, tucking our toes. We press firmly into the ground with our palms and our toes, and we lift up our hips into downward facing dog. Shine the pits of your elbows forward, facing forward. You can walk your dog for a little bit. Just dropping your head. Now bend your knees very deeply, looking forward. Walk up to the top of your mat. And fall forward into Uttanasana, forward fold. Sighing out. Maybe shaking your head a little bit. Rooting down through the balls of your feet. We rise up, putting our hands on our shins, up to a flat back. Shining our heart a little bit forward. Our shoulders are away from our ears in this flat back. And you can feel our spine is elongated. Maybe energy is flowing out through the top of your head. And then we melt down again. Deep bend to the knees. Press down into your feet so much that you start sending your body up, one vertebra at a time, stacking one over the other. Continue to do this very slowly at your own pace. Breathing in between each vertebra. As you come up to mountain pose, Tadasana. Now come up to the top of your mat. I'm just going to the side view for teaching purposes. Send your left leg back and bisect, actually open up your hips to the side of the mat, and your front heel should be more or less bisecting the back arch of your foot. We're going to warrior two. And check that your front knee is on top of your front ankle, like this. Okay? And your hips are facing the side, the long side of your mat. Sending your arms straight out on each side. Now let's focus on rooting down, feeling the soles of your feet. Seeing if you can feel yourself stretching the mat, as if you're stretching it apart. Hugging your midline. Breathing here. And then straightening your leg. Raise up your arms, inhale. And exhale, palms down, sinking down. Your knee is above your ankle. Inhale, rising up. And then palms down, pushing that weight down. See if you can feel a sinking, sort of in the bottom of your tailbone. Again, inhale. Sink down, maybe deeper into this pose. And then gaze over your front hand. Maybe you want to pick a still point in front of you. Noticing the balance between your ease and your effort right now. Reminding you to loosen your jaw, the muscles in your face. Breathing through your nose. Now straighten that front knee. Glide your torso forward, and then bring your hand either to your shin or to a block. I'll show this time with a block. And you can send the other hand up to the sky, triangle pose. Opening your heart towards the sky. A couple breaths here. And then on your next inhale, we come back up. Great. You can pivot that left or the right foot towards the long edge of the mat. So you're now, both of your feet are facing the long edge of the mat. And we put our hands on our hips. If you have blocks, you can put them right in front of you. If you don't, you're going to come to your fingertips instead, okay? So hands on your hips. We breathe in, elongating the spine. And then hinging at our hips with a flat back. We fall forward, pausing at the flat back. We can put our hands on the blocks or on our fingertips. And then we fall all the way forward. Letting go. Feel free to just breathe out through your mouth here. Coming back up to a flat back. We can heel toe our feet together so that our feet are sort of like hips distance. And then we can rise up with your hands on your hips. We can rise up through a flat back, up to standing. Great, let's do the other side. Okay, we're sending our right leg back, opening up our hips up toward the long side of the mat. Our front leg, the knee is stacked on top of the ankle. The front heel is bisecting the arch of the back foot. Feeling how the soles of your feet are stretching the mat apart. They're hugging your midline. And on an inhale, we straighten our leg. Exhale, palms down, we sink down. Inhale. Exhale, make yourself really heavy. Deepening into this pose. Inhale. Exhale. Checking again that your knee is stacked on top of your ankle. Gaze past your fingertips. And picking a drishti, which is a point in front of you. And just welcoming whatever arises to be with you right now. Softening the face. Now we straighten our knee. And we glide our body forward and bring our hands to a block or to our shin. Raising our other hand toward the sky, triangle pose. Energetically, our fingertips are reaching toward the sky. Our heart is opening up. A few breaths here. And on your next inhale, you come back up. And then let's pivot that left foot so that both feet are now facing the side of the mat. And we'll do another wide-legged forward fold here. And I'm just going to show this without the blocks. Hands to our hips. We breathe in through the crown of our head, rooting down through our feet. And exhale halfway at a flat back. We put our hands, our fingertips down on the ground. And then we fold all the way down and let our head hang. Releasing, letting go of whatever is not serving you. Sending a smile to yourself and to your body. On your next inhale, coming back up to your fingertips on the flat back. We heel toe our feet together to about hips distance. Hands come to the hip. And then on an inhale, we rise up, hugging your midline. Awesome. Okay, we'll do one more standing pose. Come to the top of your mat. Send your left leg back. Not too far back, maybe a leg's length or maybe just a little less than a leg's length. Both of your toes are facing the short edge of your mat. They're like on railroad tracks. And maybe you want wider railroad tracks if you want more stability, okay? So we're here. And again, feeling the soles of your feet on the mat. Feeling it like you're stretching the mat apart. Getting in touch with your midline. Hugging that midline. And I'm just going to bring my blocks over to the front if you have them. Bringing your hands on your hips. Breathing in through the crown of your head. We exhale to a flat back, and bring our hands to blocks. But if you don't have blocks, you can come again to your fingertips, to a flat back. I'll show this part without blocks here. Breathing in as we're here, flat back. And then on an exhale, we fall forward, bringing our bellies to our thigh. And just dropping our head. Rising up to a flat back again. Hugging our midline, we rise all the way up. Now we'll do this again. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, clasp your hands behind your back and roll our shoulders up and back, opening our hearts. We breathe in. And we breathe out, coming to a flat back. Your feet are grounded into the earth, stretching the mat apart. And we breathe out, letting ourselves fall forward. Our hands come up to the ceiling or towards your head. You can send your shoulders away from your ears. Pyramid pose. One more breath here. On your next inhale, coming up to a flat back. Gently pausing here, hugging your midline as we rise all the way out to standing. You can let that go. Good job. Come up to the top of your mat. Let's send the other leg back. Again, about legs distance or maybe a little less than legs distance. Feet are on railroad tracks. Your toes are pointing to the short edge of your mat. We'll do the first one without clasping. So hands to your hips. Breathing in, you're stretching the mat with the soles of your feet. Exhale, we come to a flat back, hands to blocks or to the ground, fingertips to the ground. And then we fall forward, letting our belly rest on our thigh. Coming back up to a flat back, hugging your midline, hands to your hips, we rise up. Now let's do this again, if you like, with your hands clasped. If you don't like to do that, then we can just repeat what you did before. We're going to clasp our hands the other way, rolling our shoulders back and down, opening your heart, breathing in, and we fall forward to a flat back, pausing here for a second, and then exhale, sending our hands, if you have them clasped, towards your head. Take a couple of breaths here. This is a tense pose, so check in with your face. Can you loosen the muscles in your face as you do this? On your next inhale, coming up to a flat back, pausing, squeezing your midline, and then gently rising up. And letting that go. Coming back up to the top of your mat. Feet further apart than your hips. We sink down into a squat. If you would like, you can sit on a block or a book, bringing your elbows to the inside of your knees, hands together. You can feel yourself pushing your knees apart, giving yourself a nice deep stretch. I just want you to hang out here. Perhaps you can close your eyes and just recenter. Come back to the present moment and come back to your intention of letting go this morning. Keeping your eyes closed, hanging out in your squat. Maybe you want to add some movement. You can imagine a weight at your tailbone, sinking your squat down further into the ground. Great. Now let's just sit down on your mat. Now we'll do one last stretch before we close. As you're seated in Indian style easy pose, just send one leg back. Extend one leg back. And see if you can have that leg be more or less parallel to your mat. Okay? And your hands can be by your feet or your knees. And see if you can try to square your hips toward the short edge of your mat. Now root down through the tops of your feet, through your pubic bone, and lifting your heart. Breathing in and exhale, come down and rest your head on the mat or on your hands. Half pigeon pose. I invite you to just come here and be. There is nothing that you need to do. You don't have to be anything. Just breathe.
Asking yourself, am I holding any place, and seeing if you can release that further. Letting whatever comes up for you, letting yourself be kind to those thoughts. Whether you're letting go of judgment or control or anxiety, just let the earth and your breath catch you right here. And on your next inhale, we're going to gently press our palms up, gather our legs together, and just noticing your body at this time. And when you're ready, you can send the other leg back, extended parallel to the mat. Your hips are parallel or square to the short edge of the mat. Your front shin does not have to be parallel to the front edge of the mat. If that's too difficult, you can bring your heel closer to your body. Grounding your hands and your leg down into the ground, we rise up, breathing in through our hearts. And exhale, melt down into the ground and rest. Just giving yourself permission to let go this morning. Whatever you are holding on to, that you know deep in your heart that is not the wisest thing for you, maybe you can just breathe into that space, generating trust. Your breath can always bring you back to the present moment. What can you let go of even more right now? Can you let your hips go a little bit more? Can you let your forehead sink into the ground a little bit more? Can you hold yourself with compassion? Gently pressing into your palms, sending yourself up, gathering our legs together. Now it's 8 o'clock and I invite you to just lie down on your mat in corpse pose Shavasana. But if you would like to close with me right now, you can just sit here on your mat and close your eyes. Breathing in through your heart and breathing out through your heart. If you like, you can put one hand on your chest. Breathing in through your heart. You can imagine creating love like a bubble around you. And this bubble is just bathing you with love. and compassion and understanding. And on your next breath, imagine creating this bubble, even expanding this bubble even larger, maybe to include your whole town. Holding the people in your town in this ball of compassion. Your next breath, your bubble expands, maybe to the whole state, to the whole country, maybe to the whole world. There are a lot of people starving right now who are not getting the food that they need. We can feel the feelings of sorrow, but if we hold them with compassion, we can transform our sorrow into an energy that's positive. Bringing our hands together, sending the intention, may the merit of your practice be of benefit to yourself and to the whole world. Thank you for joining me this morning. I invite you to let go. I hope I let go too. It's been rough. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thank yourselves. And I hope I get to see you next time. Be well.